look at my tomatoes. I promise. This is a vow. I feel like this is the first real introduction that you have to my home. So welcome to the inside of my little log cabin. I never know how to start these videos, so I'm just gonna start it by showing you my tomatoes. I did my first real harvest, and look, there's more. And I was surprised because these all got ripe at the exact same time. And so today I'm actually going to make chicken parmesan for my husband. It's one of his favorite things. And so that is one thing that I would like to tackle. I also need to go to the plant nursery. I saw some wooden, cheap wooden stakes there that I need to use to add support to my pepper plants. And I might try to use that for my tomato plant too, but I kind of let it get unruly and I really need to do some pruning. So I might have to get a cage just to give it a bit of extra support. And when I bought it, it had kind of a cage around it too. So that's wonderful. But I will give you all of the updates from my garden throughout the video. I'm so excited. I think that's my new thing. Every time I talk about anything, I'm just like, I'm so excited. So yes, I'm gonna go to the next. So I'm still a little awkward about filming in public, but I am now at Pike's and I need to get the tomato cage or stakes. I will see what they've got and then I will figure it out. And then I also need to maybe get some twine here if they've got it. There's a Home Depot not far away from here either. But yeah, and I'm gonna look at flowers. Am I gonna leave with a plant? Hopefully not. Hopefully not. I will stay strong, but I might. We'll see. So I was not strong at the store. So I got this little lady at the store today, and I have had one of these before, and it lasted throughout the whole summer, and then I killed it. But this is a perennial. I didn't even know it was a perennial, and I think that if I have it in a planted pot throughout the season, and I commit to keeping it there, and I know what it is and I remember, I could potentially keep it alive for years to come. So I got the one that wasn't really bloomed yet, but you can kind of see there on the edge that it will have some pinkish purple blooms, or you can kind of see it in the photo too. But yeah, it's a Vernique rose and full partial sun. This will be in my front yard, so it'll get enough sun. But I thought she was so pretty. The other thing that I got while I was at the store was this lovely lady. She has these beautiful yellow flowers on it. This is I'm gonna say it all wrong, I'm sure. Cabaret yellow. I'll show you the tag. But I thought it was so pretty. And this is a annual, so it won't really come back from year to year, but I just thought she was so pretty. I also got some marigolds while I was at the store. 2 different colors, but I got a Durango orange, so this will be bright orange. And I tend to get ones that haven't blossomed yet because to me it means they've at least got a little life in them. And this one, it doesn't say it on the card what it was, but yeah, it just says marigold. This was almost a cream color. This is the last one that I purchased, and I'm having a flashback because I told myself, you're not gonna get anything, you're gonna be strong. But for flowers are one of the things in this life that I love deeply. Flowers are one of those things that I look at and instantly make me happy. For some women, it's purses. For some women, it's clothes and all those things. But for me, usually it's flowers and nature. And so I don't think it's terrible that I splurge sometimes and get flowers. But this one, it is a mini Famous Uno double plum-tastic. That is quite a mouthful, but a plum-tastic. But that's the card right there, and it looks really, really pretty. It's cool. I haven't seen anything like this before. But yes, so I'm gonna plant these. I might go to an antique store too, see if I can find any terracotta. I know the one near me was closing like their outside section, so maybe there's some deals that they'll have, but it's usually cheaper to thrift some terracotta or just thrift plant pots and things like that in general. So very, very excited to add some more beautiful flowers. I need to show you this one right here. I'm actually gonna do some TLC on her because there's a lot of dead florals, and I just want to go through and pick all the dead florals off and make her look a little more lively, because she has like the whole summer left to go. So this is my front porch, and I have a variety of plants. I've got a lot on here that I've kind of gone through their season here, but a lot of new growth as well. I have all the new things I just got from the store, but this is a citronella to help with mosquitoes. I need to repot this palm. Citronella is doing pretty lovely, and then I could probably take off some of the dead flowers and things from our, gosh, I can't remember the name, but from that one right there. So I will put the type of flower that this is on the screen because I can't recall in the moment, but I am going to go through and just, because these little flowers, they don't always fall off on their own, and so I'm just gonna carefully kind of pull them off because they're not going to rebloom, and it actually helps me make room for some of these new blossoms that I have coming up. This is unfortunately an annual. I need to stop buying annuals and actually have a perennial garden so that it comes up each and every year, but I love this plant so much. So I'm going to go through quickly and just pick off everything I can to try and give it some new life. It doesn't really look too bad on camera, but it definitely has a ton of dead florals and stuff like that that we need to pick off, and maybe any dead leaves. And now she looks really refreshed. And as you can see, I didn't pull off all the buds. There's still a ton of buds, but you can see that kind of dried piece over here. They tend to like bloom up, die, and then new ones will come at the base. And it's always helped if you take off some of those dead ones so these get a little bit more light and the energy is not going to all the dead ones. But I love her. She's so pretty. At the base of this tomato plant, I haven't done really any pruning that I need to. Anything that's touching the ground needs to go, and these yellow leaves, from what I can tell, are a sign of overwatering. And I put it in this pot, and I've been having it on the porch too so that I could try and save it from all the water, but it's just, nature is not being kind to it. So I need to put a stake in this today to help support it, because this is not gonna work any longer. Maybe take out some of these old marigolds. They just kind of rot just simply out of so much water. So I'm gonna try and do what I can to get this looking a lot better than it is right now. And see, now there's a more defined stem. And it looks like I took off a lot, but I don't think that's crazy. And so this is where I decided to go ahead and take that stake that I got earlier at the store and put it into my tomato plant. And you can really see from just the few previous clips I've showed that even just putting this down the middle, it left it pretty stable. And you can see that even when I take off this cage, I was a little worried that it wouldn't, stay upright, but just giving it the stem, that little support up against the wood, definitely did something. And when I removed all of this cage, I wish I could have pulled it out and then I would have reused it, but I waited too long and I had to kind of rip it out because things were going around it. And then I used these cable ties. I have seen a video, they didn't say they used these specifically, but I already owned these and it looked like those were the things they were using in that video. So I went ahead and just grabbed these. What I'm going to do is tie them around the stem. And I like that they're adjustable because it's going to hold it in place up against the wood. And you'll see me do that here. I just push the stem up against it. And I know it's not the perfect angle, but even if the stem gets bigger, I can adjust it to fit. And I could have gone with the green ones so they blend in, but I sometimes miss things and I want to make sure that they stand out enough to where I can easily just change them out if I need to. But I did think that this was really easy and I do feel like it was fully supported. The next thing I decided to do was actually to replant this palm that desperately needed it. I call this a palm really confidently, but I really am not quite sure what it is. I came to acquire it, and so it came with no clear directions, and I'm just trying to learn about it and figure it out as I go. But I assumed that all of these kind of dead leaves and things would definitely need pulled out so the plant can breathe. That's just more of like a metaphor, but I don't know if it actually does help with its breathing. It doesn't breathe, I know that, but I pulled all of those things out anyways. It looks a lot healthier when I did, and so I just ended up moving it over to this pot over here. And then the next thing that I did, I took a nail and I was trying to poke some holes in the bottom of this pot. I have bigger nails somewhere, couldn't find them. I would have done bigger nails if I could have, but I'm trying to add some drainage because I am moving this, what I thought to have been very dead plant that I just kind of gave up on. It's woodland phallix, and usually they're tall and have pretty purple flowers, but I realized it's not dead. So even though I think this pot might be too small for it technically, I'm going to move it over temporarily until I can find a new pot because I need this one for some of the other things that I ended up getting today. But I think that it looks really cute. I have a bad habit of when something is like near death, I put it in a corner and I'm like, I wish you luck in this corner, and I kind of forget about it. But I put it in the corner and it kind of fell over and then it started to sprout again. I need to promise, this is a vow. I will not put you in a corner and abandon you a second time. You've given me a new chance. All right, the next thing to be planted is my Vernique rose. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that in this pot here. And I think this will be the perfect size pot. That is perfect, and I can just fill it around with some compost and some perlite. But I do want to kind of break this up just a little bit.
So this is my front garden box, and it is just hanging on my railing here. And things are doing really, really well. Like the basil has grown a ton. The parsley is it just needs water, but it usually is a lot straighter. I did have the basil here, so I just moved it over a little. The oregano is kind of taking over this corner. And I had marigolds in the entire front part just for some really pretty color, but I had to take them all out. I had 4 in there, and I wanted to make some room for maybe some more flowers, but I don't think the marigolds are completely done. So I just kind of pulled them up, and I'm going to put them in the garden bed out back because those really it probably needs more flowers to attract some more bees back there. So I'm going to do that. I also pulled out, I had chives in here, and I really love chives being in here because they're convenient, but I can walk in the backyard if I need them, and the other chives in the backyard are doing so well. And then leave like the basil and the oregano and parsley up here, and then fill in with some really pretty flowers. I think this one might be too tall and too big, so I'm going to find another pot to put this one in, but this one is perfect.
And I wish I had given you a better look at the front of this garden box. It's a copper one that we got off Amazon, and I think that it is just gorgeous. It was hard to find something that there's like really expensive one. I'm always shocked at the prices of things because like why? But this was a pretty copper one that goes really well with the front of our home, and it had drainage holes in the bottom and came with the attachments to drill it into our railing, which I absolutely loved. But I would eventually I feel like I'm crowding this. I would love to get a second one so I can space things out a little bit more. But I just gave this some water. I should not in hindsight because I should have checked the weather.
Okay, so I'm done kind of refreshing my front door. These two are trying to be saved currently, so ignore those. But I've got all of my other things right here, and then I moved these, which can be shade tolerant, into this corner. And then if you come up onto the porch, you've got the little garden bed up front with my flowers. It looks good.
So it just got really dark and started raining out of nowhere. So I'm going to move, at least for now. It's supposed to stop in like an hour or so. I think that I'm going to start working on the porch, because the whole goal, especially with the florals and everything, was to really refresh the porch space. I probably could use it could really use a refresh, and just maybe some scrubbing. Pollen is something that is still not as bad as it was in April, but it's still going really strong here in June. So I would like to walk with my bare feet on my porch without feeling that like sticky, gross feeling. So I went ahead and got to just trying to pick up some of the stuff that's ended up on our porch. These are the covers for my outdoor chairs and couches. And then I just swept everything that I could. And I don't want to talk the whole time while I clean. I'm going to put on some music for you for my rainy day cleaning session. But this is not, I will say, my favorite. If I have to choose between flowers and cleaning, I'll always choose flowers. But, oh, also, I should show you this. I think it's really cool. Not going to be everyone's style. My mom also, she always finds the best things at antique stores. But this was, I believe, a birthday gift years ago, maybe 3 years ago. And it just kind of sat as a plant stand on my front porch. But now I use it as a side table, which I love, but it definitely needed a good wash. All of those little white spots are where spiders, I guess, liquefy their food, and then it like drops. It's kind of gross, but it's everywhere, and I wish it would stop. But I'm taking it back, reclaiming it as my own, and making sure that everything is clean.
Okay, so it's not 100% perfect, and I still need to clean the inside of the windows, but I definitely think that you can tell a difference. This is our outdoor citronella candle, and it was covered in dirt. So I took a spoon and I scraped all of the dirt off the top. All right, so I think I'm done for at least this section. The rain should clear up here in an hour or so, and then I can do the rest of what I need to in the backyard. But I feel fulfilled. The porch looks pretty good. I think everything is organized and pretty clean. I tried my best to scrub most of the floor and sweep up everything, but we really battle with spiders in this place, and we have so many trees around us that it makes it really difficult to just keep those at bay. But we also neglected the outdoor. We neglected our porch for quite a while. Well, for the first year or two, we didn't have furniture out here at all, and I'm not someone that just will buy a whole bunch of just random furniture or things that aren't good quality. I like to really do my research and scout out, and I like to thrift and antique, so I wait for the right piece. Even our table over there, I felt like I got it for a really fair deal. And the chairs that are at it too were only $5 a piece at Goodwill. I think the table was $100 at the antique store. But that's what I mean. I like finding the best deal possible. And even our furniture, that I love these chairs. They've held up so well. And it came with, I can't remember, I think it may have been separate, where it was 2 chairs as a set from Walmart, and then there was the couch with the table that matched, and they came with covers. That was my non-negotiable, was a cover for them. But yeah, I feel very, very good. I am not someone that has ADHD at all, but I am usually very good at having some sort of a cleaning schedule if I have set the time to organize. If I have it on my calendar, I will do it. Because I've been full-time, I've needed that organization, and I can't always do, or I could, but it would leave me feeling terrible. I can't spend an entire day cleaning our porch top to bottom. It'll take every ounce of energy that I have, and if you've worked 5 days a week, 8-9 hours a day, you might not have the energy to spare to go through a project like that. And so I think I am going to do it where we've got 12 different sections of our porch, where every day or every other day I'm going to deep clean and deep scrub every single part, and then in 2 weeks I have a completely clean porch. So not every spider web is gone, not every single thing is perfect, but I need to split it up like that. That way I don't burn myself out and end up feeling really terrible. I hope that makes sense. And that method really does work for me. If it's a huge project, I would rather break it up into small pieces. That makes sense to my brain. And this was the other part, my carrots. I promise they don't normally look this bad, but it was so humid. It got so wet, and then it dried up, and the sun came back out, and then the wind was blowing a bit. So yeah, it doesn't look the best, but I am back in my backyard to add some support to these and actually kind of hammer in these stakes that I got. Now these were a little bit taller by, I think it was a foot, than the one I put in the tomato plant. And if I look uncomfortable here, it's not because this was a hard task. It's because it had rained, the mosquitoes were they were so bad, and I was miserable. But I did run in really quickly to grab my trusty mosquito repellent. This stuff is golden. It works so well and has never failed me. I'm debating using the drill to drill a hole to keep the string very, very tight, but I'll do what I feel is best in the moment. I have this big thing of twine from Michael's that I've never even used, so I think it'll be perfect to string around the garden box. Now, the technique here is what I'm going to call it, is to really just tie a knot on one side of these posts and to almost kind of weave. So if you go on the left side of one plant, you go on the right side of the other. And then when you get to the end of the post, at first I tried to just cut and like tie the knot, but it actually helped keep the tension really tight if I just kept it on the roll. And so then you go again through and you weave it back in. So if it was on the left side the previous time, you do it on the right side this time, almost in like a figure 8 pattern. I have seen some people that will do this to their jalapenos, and I have seen other people that just kind of let them grow normally or they cage them. I really didn't know what was best, but I knew that if there's a lot that grows on them, they will start to get very heavy. So I just wanted to be proactive here and try my best. I did end up doing like 2 sets of figure 8s, so that's like 4 passes with the string, and I kept it intact again the whole time that I did this. And I just, cut it at the very, very end, made sure that it was very tight, and then I tied my final knot. But as I step back and I kind of look at this, I think it turned out very, very well. Not everything was planted in the straightest line possible. I didn't think that far ahead, but I definitely think that at the very base of these, I could prune them a little bit to make them even better, but which is definitely something that I will still do. But they have definitely a lot of flowers on them, and that gives me hope. I heard that it's bad if the flowers start to just like completely fall off, like the whole bud, but so far I have no full jalapenos as of right now, but I just repeated the same process with this other side. I think I keep saying jalapenos in general. 4 of these are bell pepper, as you can kind of see in the back, and then 4 are jalapenos. And I still only have the 1 bell pepper. I do not think I probably should have let that flower into a bell pepper when it was that short. So I may not get anything from that one plant, but the rest of them I think are doing pretty well. The rest of the bell peppers, nothing has put out yet. The jalapenos, nothing yet, but I definitely do think that something good will come here in the near future. But I do want to show you some of the other things in my bed really quickly. My carrots are absolutely wildly growing right now, but you can kind of see the tops of them right there. And I am growing a few different varieties, so I have like the different color carrots too. I think I probably planted too many carrots. The lettuce is trying. The spinach is trying. I think that's about to flower. We had such bad wind. I tried to use sticks to prop them up, but I am so happy. And of course, I've got the 1 bell pepper really going strong, but the actual garden bed is holding up so well. It looks beautiful. And I'm really proud because instead of spending, my grandfather used to have all of these in cages, like jalapeno plants, but I think that it's wild because a cage, there was a rusty one and it was $39.99 versus these, which were $3.99 a post, and then the twine, which I already had. So to me, that's a really, really great deal.
All right, so I have just come in from being outside basically the entire day. It is now almost 7:15 from 7. So I need to switch gears. It's time to use all of these wonderful tomatoes that I have grown and make dinner. I have settled on that I will be making chicken parmesan. It's one of my husband's favorite meals, and he has been working really late, long hours, and he works a really like labor intensive job. So I want to surprise him, and I want to make chicken parm with garden things that I have grown. And I cannot start cooking though until this kitchen is less of a disaster. I really like to cook. It's weird because like you cook and you make a mess, but if it's messy, I don't want to cook. So I need to go ahead and clean the island, clean the kitchen some, make it look really just a lot better. And then I don't know why I'm smacking my tomato, but let me put that down. But yes, so garden gears are turned off, cooking gears are turned on. I am crashing. I don't know if you can tell. I just feel drained. And I recently just started drinking coffee. I've always hated coffee. I think it tastes like dirt. I still kind of think it does taste like dirt. I've always been a tea drinker, like hot tea and like southern sweet tea. But there's caffeine in that. So I'm not, new to caffeine. But I had a day, gosh, a few weeks ago where I did not sleep the entire night. And I hit 4 p.m. and was like, I need something. And I drank coffee and I was like, you know what? When I'm tired, this tastes less like dirt and more like something bearable. And I've had coffee a few times in the past week, so maybe I've reached the age and I'm just a coffee drinker now. Who knows? All right, let's begin. Let's do all the things I gotta do.
I really don't feel like this is terrible. The lighting will be terrible, I have to say that. We have a wraparound porch and it does not allow light to stream in. But like, this is probably not terrible. But it's bad enough for me to not want to be in this room. So I need to fix all of that.
Oh, yep, there's rice.
And in this cabinet over here, I just put my blender in here because it gets dusty and I don't use it every single week, but I have a huge thing of flour. This holds so much, and I have one for sugar too. And then I put the rice that I just filled up back here. I do a lot of baking, so I definitely have pecans and chocolate and walnuts and things in bulk, but I have bread flour back here as well as the rice that I just filled up.
So I love to bake, but I also really do love to cook, but I'm not as good at chopping things. And so I'm not going to show you the detailed parts of that, but I do consider myself to be a very good cook. I think my husband would say the same. But what I did here was my own recipe for tomato sauce. It's pretty straightforward. I put a half an onion in the pan, some tomato paste, garlic, fresh basil from the garden, and the tomato. And I put some other seasonings like salt and pepper, but I covered this up and let it stew. It doesn't look the prettiest, but it's so good.
I'm sure this is gonna look disgusting, but this tastes so good. I didn't want it really watery, so I reduced it down quite a bit because it's gonna top my chicken. I made my chicken. This is the Barefoot Contessa, what's her name? Ina Gartin? Yeah, it's her recipe and it makes really pretty crispy chicken. I know it might not look like much, but he is barely eaten anything today. And homemade sauce on my chicken parm. I'm so proud. It's also very dark outside, so the lighting is not great, but yay. And it looks burnt, but I promise it's not.
So I may very well be the absolute worst at this, but I completely forgot to say anything else. So I was just gonna abruptly end my video on chicken parm. Honestly, not the worst ending, but it was wonderful. In case you were curious, honestly, that was the best gift that I could have given myself at the end of a really long day, a fulfilling one, but still a very busy day. I
I'm just proud of all the things that I got done despite all of the weather and things that had occurred. Yes. But I'm tired. I'm tired and I'm about to go to sleep. I hope you get good rest or you have a great morning, whichever. All of the above. Okay. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.